Good morning. Welcome back to the cult. Today we're going to talk to Mad Felly, Cause, and some of the people from the Sidekick Finance team, all about their new project, Jumpstart. How are you guys doing today? Felly, you want to get us started?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having us, Tim. It's a pleasure to be here. This is, as I always say, living the dream. I mean, actually, Kaz and I were recently in Miami NFT just a couple days ago. So I think we're still recuperating, and versus what most people think, we're recuperating because we were literally going morning to afternoon to evening, just networking, meeting people, trying to close deals. I mean, you do that for 3 days in a row and you just get like this mental exhaustion that even days later you're still kind of running ragged, but at the same time it's a eerie jubilant feeling because you're just like happy-go-lucky at the same time. He's like, oh my god, let's pinch myself sort of thing. So that's kind of how it's been going here for me, and I'm pretty sure Kaz is pretty much saying the same thing. But I'll let him speak for a little bit because if not, I know I can talk too much sometimes.
Morning, Cause. It's good to finally actually put a voice to the face. I've seen you around quite a bit, sir, in the space quite a bit. So tell me about you. Are you still with me?
Yep. Hey guys, sorry. Yeah, my mic was muted. But yeah, what's going on, man? Nice to finally talk with you. I know I've seen you around the space as well. And but yeah, man. So I'm Kaz. My name is Tyler. I'm on Twitter. You guys can find me. I'm doxxed. I've been in this space for a few years. And so, things are starting to really heat up for us over at Sidekick. And yeah, we're really excited to share with you guys Jumpstart today.
You code everything, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, so I'm a software developer. I've been developing software for about 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for small companies, large companies, medium-sized companies, and then I also did a lot of consulting for a few years. So, building software is really what I do. Back in 2020, I think I met Felly and a lot of these guys in DeFi, just kind of growing up in different DeFi communities.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2021, we kind of felt it was time to start our own project and launch our own platform. We had started studying Solidity. We figured out how to launch tokens and NFTs. And so about 2 years ago, actually, almost 2 years ago exactly, we launched Sidekick token and the Sidekick Finance platform.
Yeah, I think that's around the time I caught you guys caught my attention, so to speak.
Yeah, man.
I would like to talk a little bit about the mechanics of Sidekick because it's one of the ones I quite like and I don't see it used quite often. Do you guys want to start there? Paint me a story about what Sidekick is, what it does, and then we'll move on from there.
Definitely. So
sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Who wants to start?
Yeah, I'll start us off. So Sidekick really is a deflationary ERC20 token launched on Binance Smart Chain. It is we were following the space, and I think around the time it was kind of SafeMoon tokens were blowing up, and there was another token that was blowing up, and it was called ERC Elite, and it was by this group called Rootkit Finance, and they had some really interesting tokenomics and controls and different kind of upgradability features that we thought were really attractive. I think one thing, I came into the space back in 2020, 2021, and everybody was super hype on launching tokens that were immutable and unchangeable and unupgradable. And coming from a background of software development, it didn't really make much sense because software is all about upgrades, new versions, bug fixing, that kind of thing. So these guys were all launching tokens that couldn't be fixed if they were broken, and that didn't make a lot of sense to us. So we saw these guys Rootkit, and they actually had a token that had a bunch of awesome features. So it took us a little bit to understand it, but we launched our first elite token, Sidekick, back in June 2021, and since then we've helped probably 4 or 5 different other people launch elite tokens, and they've all done really successful. And the token itself is unique in a few different ways, but mostly the ability to go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, can you break down what makes it so beautiful to you? Because I really like the mechanics of it too. I'm trying to see if you like the same thing parts of it that I like that I do.
Yeah, so the one cool thing was that, she had an automatic MGE system built in for launching the tokens. So
Hmm.
the way the tokens launch is a fair launch called an MGE, market generation event, and that's probably one of the biggest features that really helps the elite token is the way that it's launched fairly. And when she launches the token, the way she adds liquidity, the way the contract adds liquidity and basically disperses tokens to the contributors is extremely unique and basically allows the token to essentially, pump when it's deployed, which is obviously, exciting when you have a token launch. But a few different other things, like basically every little piece of it is completely separated. So you
Hmm.
can actually upgrade each individual piece of the token without having to redeploy or, kill the token itself and relaunch, which I don't know. You guys have probably been a part of a lot of projects where they've had to relaunch the token, which is,
Yeah,
pain in the
I've
ass.
never. It's one of the double-edged swords of this industry, right? We love immutability, but the problem with immutability is there is no such thing as perfect. So it's going to be interesting to see how we get there as a sector, because we everybody wants immutability, but
Right.
there's never going to be a God protocol. There's never going to be a God contract that is completely flawless. There's just never going to be.
It's not
So
possible.
it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out and how we, because it's
Yeah.
like I think that's one of the biggest reasons people are loving crypto. But at the same time, I don't know if that's what's going to end up. Fast forward 20 years, I don't know if that's going to be the most important thing. Because again, can you imagine being stuck with a decision you made 20 years ago for the next 80 years?
Yes, no way you could thrive. Well, that's the thing. I think we kind of took it the wrong way. I think Bitcoin, right, is immutable. Blockchain is immutable, and that's great. Transactions are immutable. That's amazing. We need immutable transactions, and we need
Hmm.
immutable blockchains. But we don't want immutable software. Software is always changing, and with EVM, right, we're able to build software now on the blockchain, and so we kind of took it to the max, and we're like, yeah, immutable everything. But there was a ton of different protocols. I think SafeMoon was one of them, where they launched their token and it had bugs in it, and there was a loss of funds. Like there was a potential for loss of funds, and there's nothing they could do. They had to relaunch the token,
Right.
which
It's
which is
just
just ugly. It's ugly. It's not a pretty thing to have to relaunch the token. You got to get a new contract. It's not fun. So I
right.
think just learning like where it's like, listen, we want some stuff immutable, but software, we don't really want that immutable.
I think people are mistaking what they want. They think they want immutability, but what they really want is not to be scammed anymore. They want trust. That's what they
Right.
want. I think people are I think the emotion is just like pushing them to want the wrong thing because immutable is not good. I I've wanted a tattoo forever, but there is nothing I like that much that I want on my body till forever. So here I am with no tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know.
Yeah. 100%. I think it's just, I think it's just extremism, right? It's just about learning to have, balance in everything kind of thing.
Right.
We don't want to be
Yes.
extremist.
Moderation in all things, my
Right.
friends. Moderation in all things. I need to learn this quite a bit because I'm very OCD. Anyways, go on, please.
So
Sorry
yeah,
to
so I mean,
interrupt.
there's a few other things. The Rootkit team was a pretty, they were a very, eccentric group, and they were kind of doing a lot of interesting things. One of the things that the Elite Token has is the ability to self arbitrage itself internally, which is it's kind of interesting. And there's also a way, basically, they created this concept of a dual pool system where you can kind of use the secondary pool as a way to kind of, it's almost like, it's kind of a little snaky. It's kind of like to trap people who are trying to arb your token and the bots.
Hmm.
But it's just, there's a few different features, but the main thing we liked about it was the ability to launch safe uh, um, MGEs that were, what am I trying to, fairly launched. Where everybody,
For those that don't know, MGs are market generation events. That's when
Right.
you know, initially start the token. Forgive me. I have a lot of
Yep.
newbies in here.
And so, 2 years ago in 2021, like they were very, like nobody was doing those, and everybody was just doing pre-sales or private sales, or ICOs. And so this concept of an MGE was a pretty unique thing at the time. And guys like Pink Sale and, DXL and all these top launch pads have since integrated similar ideas and concepts, but they also are still not using it the same way as ERC elites. But so yeah, that's our token, and it's deflationary. 30% of everybody so if you stake our token, we send 30% of all transaction fees to the stakers directly. Just a way to kind of say, hey, listen, the community is highly respected, and 30% of everything goes to our stakers. We have also our Sidekick NFTs, where you can actually earn revenue from the tokens as well. So a percent of transactions goes to our Sidekick Hero NFT holders. And our token, like I said, is deflationary. So every time a token is transferred or traded,
What was the initial supply and all that?
The initial supply was 100 million. So we started with 100 million, and so far we've burned almost 46.5 million. So we're almost down to 50 million, which is exciting as well.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
And so we have a few different mechanisms that are similar to some other projects in the space. And so basically, once our token burns 51 million tokens, it's actually going to take 1% of the supply and send it back through the system by airdropping to stakers, adding to liquidity, and kind of resetting the pool and kind of strengthening price. So, and that's going to be happening in a tiered way, and we're going to explain more about that. But just to say that we have a lot of exciting features that, there's a lot of people that probably don't even know about the stuff that our token can do, which is, we have a few things up our sleeve that we're excited to let out.
So one of the features I really like about the Elite token is the dual staking feature. I wonder if you could elaborate on that for me. I love the fact that I think it replicates a little bit more of what like high income people use, the way they use their wealth. They borrow, they have the initial, property. They just keep it forever and just take loans against it. I like that the way the Elite token works, you can stake your initial amount, but you can then use P tokens for something else too. I love that. Right.
Yeah, 100%. So our token, when you stake it, you stake Sidekick, and you're actually going to get something called X Sidekick. And X Sidekick is actually an up-only token, meaning that the value of X Sidekick always and only goes up forever as people stake and unstake and transactions are ran through the system. There's similar tokens and people who've adopted similar technology recently. Some big names in the space are starting to use this. But, obviously we had it 2 years ago. So, yeah, it's really cool. And then what you can do is actually, once you get those, what we call them XSK shares, which basically they represent your share of the staking pool. So when 30% of all the transactions are going to the stakers, your XSK shares represents your share of the pool. So let's say if it's $100 and you got 30% of the pool, you're going to get $30, which is that's just how it works. But then, yeah, we actually partnered with a group called Gangster Finance. I believe that's what you're talking about, is basically with Gangster Finance, our partnership with them, you can actually take our XK shares and then stake them again inside of the Gangster vaults and earn income on top of your shares, which is pretty awesome.
So, Felly, I'd like to hear your take on the Sidekick token. I'm curious what your favorite part about it is.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I've said this a couple times, but I'll say it again because it has been a while since I've said it. Is that one of my favorite things about it is that it's single asset staking. Single asset staking. I mean, worst thing in the space, getting rugged, right? Second worst space is seeing your token lose value because of impermanent loss. Because here you are, you're in something, you're in a pool, it's emitting some token, and next thing you know, your tokens that are worth $100 are now worth $10. It's like, whoa, what happened? So with single asset staking, there is no impermanent loss. You just get yield. And sure, the price of a token itself can go up or down, but the yield will continue to increase, and it only increases. And so in terms of that, that's where I see like the ultimate value. We're I think, and depending on what token, you could get 30% yield a year, 50, 100% yield a year. And it's like, well, that's not the degen 100,000%. It's like, that's okay. I can live with 30, 50, 60%. To me, that's huge. That's massive. That means that you get that much more tokens. And with everything you're getting, that we're developing now, that's going on right now. I mean, and to me, that's why it's like the price of the token may be low now, but the value of the token is high. And it's like, that's why I say we went to Miami NFT, we went to all these places. We've been busier than I think we've ever been before. And this is not hype or anything like that. It's literally, we've been busier than I think we've ever been before. And for me, that's really an awesome thing. And I think eventually it will reflect on everything that we're doing. And yeah, I mean, that's to me is the exciting part about everything that's going on.
I like it. Well, since you guys have been in the space for this long, what do you think is, getting off topic a little bit, but what do you think is the worst problem right now facing projects? And do you guys think you can overcome it? I know that's a broad question, but humor me.
No, that's okay. I'll tell you what the worst thing is that you'll hear about a project, you don't really know the team, and they're saying, hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna launch a DEX, we're gonna go multi-chain, we're gonna have an aggregator, we're gonna do this and that. And next thing you know, you have no idea who the team is. You pretty much buy into the hype because it all sounds great. But then once you've been in the space for a while, you realize, like, you know how long that's going to take? That's going to take a long time. Unless you have a team of 5 to 10 devs, you're at least asking this stuff to be done in like a year. And people who launch it, it's like, oh no, that only took us a week or two. I don't know about you, but if it's been only out for a week or two, you got to realize it's like, hey, this, was it really thoroughly tested? Because after being in the space, seeing how much, when something is complete, people like to say it's 90% complete and then testing is 10%. I disagree with that. I'm going to say when it's done, you're 1% complete and 99% is testing. I mean, honestly, I really, really do believe that, just because after being and seeing things that are done, I mean, for the same reason, I mean, thoroughly testing, but what happens? Most people don't get a chance to do that much testing. Why? Well, because you need to make money, because here you are, you've launched a token, you need some liquidity, you need some money, so you might not have time, and then you release an imperfect product. And I think that's one of the things in the space, recognizing that's one of the things that I think we could do a lot better. We shouldn't be in a rush. If we're rushing something, we shouldn't be doing it. I mean, if we're rushing it, you shouldn't do it, period.
Well said, sir. Well said. I think you answered both ends of that question with that. Okay. So, what's the? I get your tagline. Every sidekick needs a hero. So, tell me more about that aspect of it, because you told me about the token, but sidekick is more than just that. So, why don't you open up that can of worms for me?
Oh yeah, that's the expression is actually, we want to be the Robin to your Batman. And then that's kind of recognizing that there's tons of projects, and really we want to be able to develop and support whatever idea, whatever project you want to have. And we will support you with whatever it is, whether it be custom contracts, help tokenomics, helping you with social stuff like that, whatever it really be. And also, but recognizing too that we'll get much farther in the space by collaborating than competing. And actually, by collaborating with other people within the space where we're all kind of working together, that confirms that we have a good product. And then once you have multiple partners in the space, then all of a sudden you can create this really nice community of people that all of a sudden, you guys can work together. Sometimes ideas resonate across the space. And then all of a sudden you'll have multiple people, and you can have, you can pretty much have a relatively safe space where, no one's ever going to get, sorry, I think I broke up there. No one's ever going to get 100% of the market. But we will have
Sadness.
We might not have what you're looking for, but we'll find. Sorry, I think I'm breaking up a little bit.
We're losing. That's all right. No, 100% agree though. I think it's this it's kind of, and it kind of goes back to your previous question. It's like, what's the problem, in the space? And I think it's, I think I heard someone talking about it at NFT Miami, but it was just this concept of like basically an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. And so right now we have people and devs that are kind of like, they have this scarcity mindset where it's like, oh, we got to be the one. There's not enough for everybody, so we gotta attack other projects. We got to do this stuff. It's like working together, and realizing that if we work together, there's more than enough for everybody, and the fact that if we work together, we're gonna go, much farther, much faster. So, and then at the same time, I think it's, not chasing after hype and really, doing your own research and, investing in products that have the ability to, provide value. So I think those two things, if we work together and provide value, I think you add that up and, we're going to do very well.
Very nice. I like it. Okay. So would it be fair to call you guys a launch pad, or is that going too far? Do you guys actively go out and find projects to nurture, or is it just they already need to be established before you guys need to talk to them? We'll talk to them rather.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So we're in the middle of like a rebranding and kind of upgrading our site. The landing page you guys are looking at is something we launched 2 years ago. And we just, ever since we launched, we've been so busy, helping projects launching tokens, NFTs, consulting. We haven't really gotten back to it, but we're going to be upgrading the site and kind of making that a little bit more clear. But basically, in a single sentence, we're a Web3 software consulting firm. We provide services and products to help you, build software in terms of Web 2 software, regular platforms, old school platforms, and also Web 3, and just help you strategize. We consult. We help you. We are a launch pad. We can launch tokens. With Jumpstart, we have our own NFT crowdfunding platform, which is cool. But we can, basically, Jumpstart and all these things that we have on the site are really just, example use cases of what you can do with this technology. And, ultimately our goal is to, help people in mainstream adoption, right? We want to grow the space. Like, that's why we started building. Before we were building in this space, we were investors in this space. We were enthusiasts. We just loved the concept of DeFi and blockchain, decentralization, freedom, transparency, security. All that stuff is what we loved, and we want to be a part of, bringing it to the masses.
Well said. Well said. Okay. If how would a project do it? Let's say I'm a project. Walk me through what I would need to contact you guys, and I'm not finding the right words to ask this question.
No, yeah. So an initial interaction with us is super simple. We would probably set you up with a 30 to 60-minute meeting and just get to know you, find out about yourself, what you're trying to do, maybe what kind of product you either already have, or what kind of community you already have, or what kind of product you're trying to build. And, usually everyone we work with has some kind of idea of what they want, and we just kind of help them, mold it into something, real that we can build and execute on. So it all starts usually just with a conversation, and you guys can hit us up for a Calendly invite, and we can set up a meeting, and we'll just talk with you guys.
I like it. Okay, so let's jump over to Sidekick, but we probably will be jumping back. I'm sorry, let's jump over to Jumpstart. But knowing the way my brain works, I'll come back to Sidekick in a bit. So tell me about Jumpstart. Whose idea was it, and what problem did you see that you're trying to solve?
Yeah, definitely. So when we launched Sidekick, our whole goal was to basically build tools to help people in the space, right? And so we started with some analytical tools. We were doing some DeFi analytics and dashboards. And then after we launched our Sidekick token, the elite token, our number one, business was helping other people launch tokens. So we started launching other tokens for people, helping them do fundraisers, MGEs, that kind of thing. And then NFTs started getting a little bit more exciting and kind of taking over the space. So we were launching NFTs for people. we were actually in the middle of building a token launch pad, and then we were kind of realizing that managing a token is very difficult. And, it's easy to launch a token. It's very difficult to manage one long term because of liquidity, because of a lot of different things, sentiment, the fact that people can dump your price. And then when your price is dumped on the charts, people, the FUD, the compounding effect of FUD, and just, the chart, it's a very difficult thing to launch a token. And a lot of people are coming to the space and they don't have utility. They don't have community. So, when you launch a token first, we were finding that it ended in failure, 99% of the time. The tokens don't last. So with NFTs, we found that, hey, managing an NFT project is a little bit easier. And also when these projects are starting out, if I raise $100 for a token launch, a lot of the times, anywhere from 50 to, 80% of the money is going to liquidity, meaning the project that is actually starting the token doesn't even get the funds to build anything, which is, it kind of creates, another weird problem. So for developers and people trying to build products, when you launch an NFT, you actually get 100% of the funds. There's no managing of liquidity. There's no, charting of a price that's tanking. Now, obviously there's floor price and different things like that, but with NFTs, it's a little bit, it's easier to manage.
I agree.
So with that thought, we were like, hey, you know what? Screw the launch pad. Let's do an NFT launch pad. And then we were like, you know what? Screw that. Let's do a crowdfunding platform. Let's go real niche, right? We wanted to be a little bit more specific. So we built an NFT crowdfunding platform. Basically, it's almost like a clone of Kickstarter, but we just integrated NFTs and cryptocurrency. And so the problem here that we're solving is just the ability for projects and groups to raise funds anywhere in the world. Fundraising, basically, we looked into the research, we did the research. About 70% of all crowdfunding in terms of dollars happens in the United States and Europe, but yet 80% of the world that needs crowdfunding is outside of the United States and Europe. So, and the reason being is that most people outside of the world, it's banking problems. They can't get bank cards, they can't get debit cards, so you can't crowdfund without a credit card or a debit card or a bank. And so with cryptocurrency, obviously, and NFTs, anybody now can crowdfund. All they need is a crypto wallet. So that's kind of where Jumpstart kind of came out, and it's been going very well. We launched end of November. We've successfully raised for about 4 different projects.
Nice.
Currently live, we have our Change 360 bot gains, and then upcoming we have Burn Swap. So
I'm looking forward to that as well.
We're getting tons of interest. We actually have another group, a GameFi project, and these guys already have a game. And so we're doing a lot of consulting. We're trying to tell people, like, hey, it's better to come a little bit more prepared. This isn't a cash grab. This isn't just you're going to make a post and people are going to give you money. You got to build a product. You got to build a community. You got to have a roadmap. And honestly, it'd be nice if you had an MVP. If there was something we could go touch and use right out the gate. And that's kind of how we're directing people. So
minimum viable product.
Right, exactly.
Okay, sorry. My brain was trying to figure out what that meant. Okay, sorry.
Right, just an MVP, a minimum viable product, something that actually is already working that users can use and that you can generate revenue with. So that's kind of where we're at. People are hitting us up every day. We're really excited about Jumpstart and crowdfunding, but Jumpstart is really just one product that we're kind of thinking of. The space is going to need a lot of different tools, and we just came from NFT Miami, and one of the biggest topics there was this concept of NFT tooling, where people could use no-code solutions to launch NFTs and Web3 platforms without being a developer. And so Jumpstart kind of falls into that segment, and we want to build more tools. We want anyone to be able to launch NFTs, tokens, and Web3 integrations for their sites, for their platforms, easily and quickly.
What if let's say I don't know how to code? Let's say, let me give a silly example. My grandma, who owns a bakery shop, wants to crowdsource a new store or something. Can she come to you guys and basically, will she have to pay you guys to do all the work for her to get her the code? Is that something you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, 100%. So basically, so right now, anybody can come to the site and start a campaign. All they need right now is a MetaMask or a blockchain, crypto wallet, and all they need to be is connected on either one of our available EVM networks. We're on Ethereum, Polygon, Binance, Chronos, Arbitrum, Avalanche, and a couple others. And as long as you have a wallet and some funds, and basically to launch a project, we charge about $100 to $200 in USDC. On Binance Smart Chain, we charge it in Sidekick token. And so as long as you have the funds to create a campaign, you can actually come to the site. You can just click Start Campaign, and it'll actually walk you through basically a self-service portal that step by step is going to take you through the process of creating everything you need for an NFT, crowdfunding campaign. So very similar to Kickstarter,
Can you by any chance walk me through it? Do a demo or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, real quick. So we can do it. I'll show you really quickly. So, and so one of the things we want to do is kind of integrate AI to help people come up with the content. So, because basically all you really need to launch is content. So we're going to come up with a campaign name, some tagline, so just an image maybe for, the preview image that everybody sees, some basic category stuff, regional or not, maybe for your grandma's bakery shop, it's going to be regional because she wants people in her city, to know about it. But if not, it's not. We can also make it a private campaign. So if you want it to be a fully whitelisted private campaign that nobody actually can even open up or get into without being whitelisted, you can. But it doesn't have to be. You can choose your network. Here's all of our available networks. And then you can choose what you want to raise in. So any network token you want to raise in, you can. We're obviously suggesting stable coins. But I do think maybe this bear market hopefully will come to an end soon. So maybe it's a good idea to start raising in BTC and ETH. But your choice, you set a goal. Let's say you want to raise 10 ETH. The funding cap mechanism here is a pretty cool thing we added, which basically just says, hey, depending on the cap you set for yourself, you're going to get discounts inside the system and get this nice green sticker letting everyone know, like, hey, I'm saying if we don't get 100% of the money, all of it goes back. So this is kind of a soft cap mechanism that says basically as long as you reach this soft cap, the funds will be released by the smart contracts. And if not, your contributors have nothing to worry about because let's say these guys don't raise 10 ETH. If they raise BTC, if they raise 9 BTC and the campaign ends, the funds get released back to the contributors.
They don't have to claim it or anything. Do they have to claim it or whatnot? Or
they have to claim it. They have to claim it. So they'll have to go back to the page of the campaign. And
so just like kind of like Pink Swap. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You can set a royalty. So if this is an NFT, so if you sell these or list them on marketplaces that collect royalties, you can actually set that here, and those marketplaces will honor that. Upload a picture for the campaign. Put some cool content. And this is the part right here that probably could use some AI help. This is kind of the biggest hurdle for people creating campaigns is creating a nice, engaging story and branded content for the campaign.
Okay, so you're gonna embed like an AI GPT bot in there for them to iterate stuff.
Right, exactly. Maybe produce images, maybe produce just text even. But you'll see, BurnSwap I think did a great job, just kind of branding their content and that's kind of like the biggest hurdle is coming up with this content really when creating a campaign. Once you have your story and content, you create your NFTs. And for us, NFTs, we are considering them a tier. So each tier is an NFT contract. And each tier should, kind of have some kind of value or perk attributed to it that, makes people want to launch contribute. So we'll just say these are
very much like Kickstarter.
Very much like it's basically exactly like Kickstarter, except you're just not only going to get the perks, but now you get an NFT proving like hey, I was one of the earliest contributors to this project, and the brands like let's say a project launched on Kickstarter, they're going to be able to engage with their most earliest supporters from day one, and the brand loyalty loop, the engagement on that. I mean, if you know a lot about branding and loyalty, like the number one customer for a business comes from people who are already customers, and with NFTs, you're gonna be able to connect with your most earliest supporters for their entire lifetime of being a customer. And that's really one of the biggest powers of anything. But anyways, you load up. Here's where you're actually going to load up the artwork for the NFT. And right now, our NFTs are basically based about utility. We're not doing PFP projects yet. We are developing that right now, and we're working on getting that out to where you actually will be able to launch PFP projects with us. But right now, it's utility NFTs. So you would just upload a single image for the NFT. And then here you can actually describe your perks. We have a few Jumpstart provided perks. These are perks that you can automatically attach to your NFT just by clicking one of these buttons. And basically, these are smart contracts and utilities built into the smart contract that are activated when you choose so. One of them being redeemable tickets. One of them being this idea of token distribution, where you can distribute tokens to all your NFT holders. And the other is a batch NFT, where you can do batches, unlimited batches. So let's say you wanted to sell an NFT with 100. The first batch has 100, and then after that sells out, you want to create a new batch and a new batch. You can do that as well now. And then here you can actually add any perk that you want. Any personal defined perk, custom perk you want, like access to in real life event, access to a web platform. Access. You guys know take and go to access to private discords, that kind of stuff. Cool. And the normal stuff too, like maybe you want to send out merch. Maybe you're trying to crowdfund for a physical product, and everybody who contributes is going to get early access to the product, something like that. Here you can really kind of get creative. Quick description about the NFTs, and again here this concept of privating. You can actually make each NFT tier individually private with different whitelists if you wanted. Wow. And then just the quantity, maximum per transaction, some basic, NFT stuff. We're going to offer 10. You're going to be able to mint 10. Each guy can hold 10. And then here, if you want to actually collect an email address for your contributors, because maybe you need to contact them, maybe you want to build your newsletter or your email list, we allow you to do that. And then, boom, it'll show you, hey, you got your tiers. Each of them is 1 BTC. You can add as many tiers as you want or need to get to your desired quantity and inventory. And so that soft cap we set is 10 BTC, but we can actually sell more than that. That's just a soft cap that you're telling the project, like, hey, we at least need 10 BTC to be successful and launch, but you guys can sell, as much BTC as you want.
So by default, yeah, even if it has a hard cap, people can still contribute max, or does it automatically end the campaign when you hit max?
Nope. Yeah, there's no hard cap. The only hard cap is your quantity. So if you only have 10 NFTs at 1 BTC, your hard cap is obviously 10 times it's 10 BTC. But if let's say you go over here and you set a soft cap of 10 BTC, that's your goal. That's going to be shown to everybody. You can have inventory that equals up to 100 BTC. That doesn't there's no limit on the other side.
Can you speak to rarities and such as far as can I upload multiple pictures? Can they have other attributes like like NFTs do?
Yeah, so like typical PFP projects. So right now we don't have like actual PFP projects integrated where you can actually do, like, let's say you just wanted to do one tier, an NFT called like a PFP project, and then there was like a different variations of NFTs inside of that project. We're working on coming out with that actual utility. But right now it's simply one image, one tier per NFT, utility based. So if you wanted to have a different rarity, you would actually come in half the year and go, hey, so this is going to be my gold tier. And it would be it would be a different NFT and a different tier altogether.
And can you upload multiple photos, or is it just the one photo?
One photo per NFT right now.
Okay.
Yeah. We are working. A lot of people are asking to do their PFP projects with us. And so, Sidekick kind of started with utility NFTs. We were kind of never doing sadly, we didn't, I'm not an artist and we didn't have a lot of artists on the team. We did recently partner with a group of artists, and we're actually going to be launching our own PFP project very soon. And we're going to be getting the ability to launch PFP projects with us as well. But that's probably going to be a different product. It's probably going to be more of our NFT like design studio. This is really geared towards crowdfunding. It's it's almost like these are crowdfunding NFTs specifically. So that's kind of where Jumpstart's at. But we wanna kind of open up to the traditional PFP rarity projects for sure.
I have two questions. Let me ask an unfair one first.
Yeah.
Okay, I know this is unfair, but let's say tomorrow Jumpstarter decides to add crypto. What do you think would make people stick with not Jumpstarter, Kickstarter? Good God.
Kickstarter? Yeah, Kickstarter.
What if tomorrow they decided to add crypto? What do you think you guys have? Considering that you can see, it sounds like you guys did quite a bit of research. You see where they went wrong, what they did good, what they did bad, blah blah blah. What on their model do you think you've improved that would still,
So really, I think the biggest improvement is the fact that we just integrated NFTs and cryptocurrency. What is the biggest improvement? And it's decentralized. Right now, anybody can use our smart contracts. And even if our website goes down, those smart contracts can still be used and integrated into someone else's site. So that's really the biggest innovation. And we've looked into Kickstarter. And honestly, we're not trying to compete with Kickstarter. Kickstarter actually came out with a statement, I think, last summer saying that, they won't be launching their own crypto NFT platform, but they will be looking to guys who are launching NFT crypto crowdfunding platforms and looking possibly to even partner with one of them or even just buy one of them out and, have their own version. So that's kind of our goal. We see this as like a use case, an example for those guys, Kickstarter, to be like, hey, look at guys, we proved it does work. And so for example, in our market research, one of the things with Kickstarter campaigns is they average about $8,000 per campaign raise. And, our campaigns, we're seeing our average well above that. So if we can go to Kickstarter and say, hey, listen, when you use cryptocurrency and NFTs, the average raise is double. You know what I mean? Because why? Because people like using cryptocurrency and NFTs. And with cryptocurrency, there's no limit on how much money you can spend. And with traditional banks, if you have a debit card, sometimes your bank won't let you spend more than, $1,000, $2,000 in a day. With crypto, the limits are, unleashed. So that's basically our answer is that we're not against Kickstarter. We in fact want them to see us and hopefully, maybe buy us out or partner with us.
I like that. Okay. All right. I have hold on one second. Let me write this down so I can come back to it because I want to linger on this topic real quick. 1 second. Okay, so since we're on that subject now, and perhaps Philly can chime in as well. I think one of the reasons that the Kickstarter isn't doing it is they are probably afraid of the government and they want somebody else to do it so they don't have to. And I like that. I like that. I really think that's what they're doing. I think they're seeing that a lot of U.S. companies are getting their little spanking right now, and they're like, okay, let's see if somebody else can do it, and we'll go from there. So, given that, what do you guys have you guys thought about that? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's funny because I'll tell you one thing. I mean, it's first when it comes to the government, it's like if they were to, it's all in a gray area right now, right? So if they come up with certain rules or regulations, then sure, okay, that's fine. We're not here to break them. We're here to follow them. It's just everything is so up in the air. There's no real clear consensus. So you got to keep working and you got to keep deving. The other thing too, and I realize this at NFT Miami is that we are really way ahead of the game. I mean, I'm talking tip of the spear. When we go in there saying what we have, we talk to other people. I mean, other people have ideas, but the contracts, the MVP, they don't have it. They don't have it. And, you hear about people spending $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. We had a guy who spent over $300,000 just to trying to get an NFT marketplace, and he still hadn't had it yet. And, these are things that things that we've done. We've done privately. We've done for a couple of people, and the contracts that we have can easily be white labeled for anyone to use. And, that is a service that could be provided. It's kind of like smart contract as a service, or this as a service. And just when you think that there should be tons of people doing this, you go to a conference like this and you realize no one has it. No one.
Right. And I think, again, that might be, nobody wants to be the first. I don't know. I think it might be one of those things where nobody wants to be the first. They're just like waiting to see who, what happens first. It's kind of like
well, and I'll tell you, and I'll say this before Kaz says anything. So we met up with someone who Dev, who was from my side of the island, right? And his wife is connected to a big company, and she is like this senior digital media something. And I'm talking big company. I want you to think of one of the biggest companies you can imagine, right? And one thing she said is that, despite her high position, despite all the people that she's with, very smart, her and someone else were the ones that were in charge of expanding their company to Web3. Because no one else knew it. No one else understood it. They didn't see what the value was. They just know that they had a database of millions of people, but they didn't know how to get there. And we're having this conversation, and this is like, wow. Like, that's when I realized we're getting constant confirmation of how much of the edge of the spear that we're getting. And I think part of it is sure that maybe they don't want to be the first one, but I think a lot of it has to do is they don't know how to do it.
Right. It's kind of like getting a new toy and you haven't read the manual.
Exactly.
And I'll add on. I mean, we fully want to be compliant. We're in talks with different lawyers to figure out regulation and how we can be compliant with our system. But that like Feli's saying, there's a lot of stuff going on with that. And honestly, ultimately, we're going to do our thing. And, if we get hit with a fine, we get hit with a fine. But, we're trying to be first to market. We're trying to prove that this stuff works. So, it's going to be a little bit, like you said, tip of the spear. And, honestly, the regulators, this is just my personal opinion. This shit's so confusing that no one knows what's going on. We're talking to developers out there. They're scared. Developers in the United States are scared to build. They're scared to innovate. And so it's fucking stifling our innovation. Meanwhile, these other countries are going to go building and start building all these systems, and we're going to be left in the dust, and it's bullshit. So, honestly, they need to make this shit easier. They need to make it make sense. It shouldn't be that difficult for us to get compliant. Like, there should be a website. I go to the site, I pay a fee, I get compliant. Like, there's a list of things I got to do, and I go do them. It should be that simple.
Right. I think it goes. The best story I've heard about this whole thing is how Coinbase has gone to the SEC over 30 times asking for clarification on things, and they just crickets.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I just saw Coinbase is about to get sued, and they're a freaking multi-billion-dollar corporation with billions of dollars of funding and legal lawyers and stuff. So it's like, you guys, there's no, we're going to get
not
sued.
Only that,
you know what I mean?
Not only that, Coinbase is one of those people that have assiduously paid attention to these things, to where, before they launch a product, for the most part, they usually go to the SEC and say, hey, we're going to launch this. What do you think about it? Is it okay? And the SEC, for the most part, has not responded yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's honestly, obviously for me, it's a little irritating, but it's honestly, it's detrimental to, the United States. And
yeah,
we lead with technology. Technology is one of the leading things for the United States. And if we're not building, if our developers are scared to understand this new technology, it's going to set us back.
Right. I mean, if they can't build here, they're just going to go to a country that, will let them build.
Exactly.
It is wherever the money is, these companies will go. It's either it stays here and it enriches our country, or it goes somewhere else and it enriches theirs, and we start immigrating there and taking their jobs.
Yeah. But I mean, we met, there was a bunch of lawyers out there. There were some people out there. We met them. We got their information. We're definitely going to be talking to people to make sure that we can be as compliant as possible. So it's definitely on our radar for sure. But at the same time, we're building out here, man. We're going 100 miles an hour. We'll pay speeding tickets, if they can catch us later.
I like that. Okay, let's go back a little bit. To my other thought that I had. So the way you were describing like the a la carte nature of setting up the NFTs. You pick this feature, you pick that feature. You guys are going to add AI to it. Are you also going to add the ability to add their own snippets of code? Because it looks like this looks like the beginning of like a code library where you can mix and mash different things to create some sort of monster thing, whatever you want to make. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see if you guys allow people to add their own code to it. Like if they want it to be a reflection, if you want to have reflection, you just add that little code. If they wanted to have an additional transaction tax, add that little bit. Is that where you guys are going, or am I reaching?
No, that's and that's definitely where we want to go. With maybe not with Jumpstart. I think Jumpstart's going to be specifically crowdfunding NFTs. But we're talking about building some kind of NFT or smart contract studio where you can kind of just do plug and play features, no code solutions, and then possibly even letting developers build their own plugins and add-ons. And so, that's definitely something we're looking into. And that was something that was being talked about down there at NFT Miami. This is like the tools to build your own NFTs and smart contracts. That's going to be a big play. So, and we want to be a part of it. So.
Very interesting. Okay. So, what has you, and this is for you, Cause, and Felly, what has you the most excited about Jumpstart? Which part? Give me one piece that has you the most excited.
So for me, it's just the ability to, they allow people to come to the site, set up their campaign, and start raising funds to fund their idea anywhere in the world. Like the fact that any idea in the world can now be validated by a community and, created and brought to life with just a smart contract and a mobile phone. I think that's what excites me the most. And, the fact that it's an automatic platform that I don't have to handhold. I can just go to sleep and they can start building campaigns. I love that.
Beautiful. Felly?
Oh man, for me it was about functional, because it wasn't just about picture. It was that you can actually have it work and function with multiple things. You could have it where it could be coded to function with a DEX, where it could have decreased fees. You could have fee distributions among different contact. You could have it work with multiple different ecosystem, and it could have function. But I'll tell you what, the two things that have me the most excited about Jumpstart, which are features that were just around the corner. One is credit card integration, and two is minting NFTs via email. Those two things, to me, let's just say that those are the two biggest things that have me the most excited, because that will pretty much mean that anyone, via QR code, via an email, all of a sudden it gives you a link. People can create your own wallets there. That has it where you basically Web 2 something that's Web 3, where anyone who understands Amazon could do that.
There's so many logistical things with that. You have to break it down for me, sir. Okay, so I send an email. Give me a scenario. I'm trying to imagine. Well, no, I mean I can imagine like I can imagine some scenario.
I think Felly's talking about we're going to be adding and integrating MoonPay and Paper XYZ to where you can actually create wallets with an email address, and all you'll need is an email address and a credit card to start minting NFTs.
Okay. So that speaks to this. That speaks to another question I had: the fiat onboarding. So you guys are working on that. I guess that answers two birds with one stone. So you're going to have a fiat onboarding, and I'll be able to just use my credit card. I'll put my email address in, and a wallet will be generated that's attached to that. And what happens after that? Can I just, because I think everybody, again, this goes back to the thing we started with where we were talking about immutability. Everybody wants immutability, but they really don't. They really don't. And nobody in this space really wants 24 seed words. Nobody. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single person that legit enjoys having 24 seed words to, to access their wallet. It's just not a thing. So being able to like use an email address that acts as my wallet, I think that would solve a lot of the problems. People are looking at this crypto thing way too wrong. They're making it too complicated. We just need to have everything we have now, but with crypto running it on the background, and I don't want to think about it. That's what I want.
100% agree. Yeah, it's kind of like that thing we were talking about, the extremism. It's like, you know, we went full crypto, but I think we're still, you know, we're just super early, guys. Like, I know it seems like the crypto thing is mainstream and but nobody's using it yet, and nobody knows how to set up these wallets, and most of the money is still in fiat. So, you know, until, you know, probably for the next 20 years, we're going to need the ability to integrate fiat and onboarding easily. You know, until like my kids are running the world, like maybe our generation, maybe my kids will be a fully crypto decentralized, like maybe all of their assets will be crypto and they won't ever need fiat. But that we need these tools. We need to make it easier for guys with fiat, people that don't understand, you know, the technology to get in, because everybody wants to get in at this point. I know, like my grandpa wants to get in. Like my grandpa's trying to get this shit.
I think the biggest toxic thing about this whole sector is the hate that there is towards newbies. And that's because most people that are in this space, they took the time to learn to do it, and it's fucking hard, right? So when they see somebody coming in that doesn't want to do all that, they get mad and they're like, oh, well, I did all that. Why shouldn't you? But at the same time, let's go back to grandma again. Grandma don't give a fuck about seed phrases. Grandma's not going to be remembering 24 seed phrases. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We want to be in control.
Grandma's got a lot of money.
Yeah. So, and grandma's never going to put her, because she can't even remember her name last week. So nobody wants that. I don't know. We need to change our mentality for this sector, because it's just nobody wants it. I have so many goddamn wallets. I'm sick of 24 seed words.
I don't even know if it's just this space. It's really just, I don't know if it's just our country. You know, I'm not sure. It's a cultural thing. It's like, it's all about extremism and, you know, polar opposites. But really, we got to be collaborating and kind of, you know, compromising and working together. It's really that, in my opinion, I think it's like a mindset. It's a cultural thing.
Anyways, enough of my rant. So what else do you think we should know? I think you guys have pretty much answered all my questions. What else do you think you guys should know? And then I'll open up to the room.
We could talk for a while. So I mean, we got website refresh coming. We're gonna refresh the whole Jumpstart. We're gonna refresh Sidekick. We have credit card integration coming. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be cool. We're gonna be adding ERC 1155 NFTs to our Jumpstart platform. We have a few GameFi projects wanting to launch, but these games are using the ERC 1155 standard. So we're going to be integrating that. Anything? I mean, we're actually about to close some big partnerships and deals where we're actually going to be doing some custom work for some groups. So that's going to be
any
cool.
Spoilers? I like spoilers.
No spoilers
come
yet.
On.
But I'd have to leave that to Felly. I'm sure Felly, if you guys hit those back channels, he's out there.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just say one thing. If everything really, really works out, we'll be present in the Latin Grammys. I'll just say that.
I want to go. I don't know if my wife will let me. Well, yeah, she will. She's nice. Okay, I lied. I have two more questions. I have two more. I had them written down in my dyslexia. Didn't see them. So, can you guys tell me about the dev fees in the ecosystem? And then after that, give me your best advice for a newbie coming into this space.
Yeah, so I'll start with the dev fees. There is a dev fee on the token trading. I think it's about 15% right now. And that's probably going to be, we're probably going to be changing that a little bit. Other than that, there's a fee to publish on Jumpstart, and we take a fee on the raise. So on Kickstarter, GoFundMe, any of those projects, it's a 5% fee on whatever's raised. and our platform's in line with that. But again, if you go back to this basics page, and depending on your funding cap, you can actually get up to 30% off of fees. So we're hovering around like 3.8 something to 5% on the raise, which helps makes us competitive. Other than that, there's no fees inside the platform. You know, you can stake for free, unstake for free. You get 30% of everything, and that pretty much is that. And what was the second question?
Give me your best advice for a newbie. Pretend I don't know anything about crypto. What would you tell me to do?
So my best advice to a newbie, and it's not financial advice, of course, but
never. It's right now.
Never. There you go. Yep, exactly. It's just the space is very diverse, so you can really get in where you want to fit in, and follow your passion, follow your interest, and find the people in the space that are working, in that area, in that sector, and just get involved in the communities. You know what I mean? Start chatting with the people in the Discords and the Telegrams. Start learning about the protocols, reading the white papers, understanding how these things are working, and if you find something that you're passionate about, support it, support the devs, support the community.
Beautiful. Felly, your turn, sir.
Yeah. So, well, the funny thing is I remember being a noob in the space, and sometimes I still feel like a noob. And one of the first things I would tell people is like, go to Coinbase, read the articles, learn. They actually would give you, back then, they would actually give you a couple bucks in their crypto, learn what it is about, just kind of get familiar with it too. And I think one of the most important things, never, ever, 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 ever type your seed phrase to anybody. Never. Ever. Never. Someone says their admin support asking for that, and never, ever, ever, ever. So that's. I mean, I think that would have saved us, plenty of us, a lot of heartache, especially in the beginning of that. Honestly, other thing I'd like to tell people is, like, before you even spend any single dollar or cent on crypto, go to the different communities, learn about them. If they have time to answer your questions and just really educate you, then you know what? Then you have time to spend money on them. But if they don't have time for that, they're just there, they won't even answer your questions, and I'm talking really good questions, then it's like, move on to somewhere else. Because it should be able to if you're looking to spend your hard-earned money, then answering question is the minimum. And so it's always good to go ahead.
Amen. I was saying, sorry.
Yeah. So in terms of that, that's how I feel in terms of like advice for a noob is go to go to Coinbase. It's a big app. Learn about it on crypto.com, has a crypto.com university. Learn what it is first. Look up some information. Learn the history of it, where it started from, and that is probably one of the most important things, because that way you'll learn what it that crypto is not just about buying and selling. Crypto is it's a movement to really, that started from the banking crisis, and here we are in a second banking crisis, and this is where it becomes much more relevant. So
in my lifetime, this is the second one in my lifetime. Thought these were like once in a lifetime swan events.
Exactly. And that's why I say, it's like, if you're in crypto, you should always be, you should always go for the success of Bitcoin, because we all follow Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the king. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everything follows that. So in terms of that, the more successful Bitcoin is, the more successful we all are.
Sorry, somebody sent me a dumb question. Okay, there are a couple of questions in the room. If you guys want to take a look, feel free to answer any of them if you like. If not, we can move on to giving away some money. We could do it with you guys here, or I can use Twitter Picker to pick people, whatever you guys like.
Hey, I can answer some questions. Let me see. Who has let me see. Let's go back, because I see a bunch of questions. I'm trying to see where I can okay, well, I can't. Okay. All right, question 1. Psychic Romance, is this a 5-phase without limitation on time, which milestone currently? How do you know there wasn't achievements, what to be on off targets? Well, when we started, the funny thing is, when we started the roadmap, we had a certain idea of what we wanted to do. And then, of course, as time goes on, you adjust. You know, we didn't think when we first started we would have an NFT crowdfunding platform. And as we do these things all of a sudden, and especially now, as we become incorporated, we start to have working people, then one of the more important things we have to do is that we have to be able to monetize our ideas. We have to be able to do that because there's people that are depending on us. You know, there's people that, that are working for us doing things, and we have to, and if we want them to continue work, then we have to be able to at some point, value what the work they've done, whether it be by tokens, payment, salaries. And so it's at some point you have to make these things real. And if you want to make it real to be a true movement, a true, not just job, it's because it's not really a job, it's something that you want to make a difference, then you have to be that difference. And it's so corny, but yet it's definitely one of the things I really believe. And what else? Questions? What advantage does Sidekick got by applying Sidekick token into elite form? I mean, really, the best thing I like about Sidekick token is that it's one, you can get more fees. You get more fees on every transaction, not just buys but also sells. So in that way, it's similar to how reflections are, where that stake Sidekick will continue to go up. So the more people buy, the more people sell, and I think to me it's great because I've never liked sell shaming anybody. It's like, I know buy sell. That's an opportunity for anybody. And to me that just seems like one of the things that I really like about it. It's that it can do that. I think the other stuff, let's see, from John, I think I can answer a couple of those. Well, actually, Kaz, I think you can answer that because it's asking about roadmaps and security measures and stuff. I think you can talk, as a dev, you can talk more about that than I can, or he might be typing it down.
No, yeah. So the roadmap, again, guys, this site hasn't been updated in some years. We're going to be doing a refresh. We did try to put dates on the roadmap, so there is some dates on, when we completed the things. But like Feli's saying, everything at Sidekick is evolving rapidly, and we're just trying to stay agile. And sometimes we have to pivot and change up what we're doing, and we're trying to update the roadmap to reflect that as quickly as possible.
I like it.
One of the questions I see someone saying, what's the passive income? For us, it's super simple. You just buy Sidekick and you stake it, and you're going to automatically earn 30% of all the network transactions and fees, including fees from like products like Jumpstart, trading fees, and different things like that. And you don't have to do anything. You just stake, and the value of your token automatically goes up. And then when you unstake, you have more tokens, and there you are.
Oh, I have another question real quick. Do you guys keep any like Pink Sale will keep a bag of the project or whatever? Do you guys do that?
So no, we don't take a cut of the project. We do take a cut of the funds raised. But we don't take like NFTs or anything like that, or tokens.
I like that. I like that. I hate that. I hate that they do that. That's one of the. I hate that feature.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, it was causing some issues. So, do they still? I'm not sure if they still do that. I think I saw they were.
Yeah. Well, they give, as far as I know, they give you like an option to like pay it off or something, to buy it back before you close it. So if you choose not to buy it back, it's kind of your fault for getting dumped on ish kind of thing. Sorry, interrupted. Yeah, I think you guys have a very interesting product. I'm very curious, given that I've seen it as in somewhat its inception. I'm super curious to see where you guys will go from here, especially since there's so many opportunities for you to branch into. I could see you guys being something like a Y Combinator, but crypto, right? I think I've mentioned this quite a few times already, but we really need crypto companies, projects to actually be more like a real company, have an office, whether it be virtual, have a virtual boardroom where you meet every day, where you do that, where you, treat it like a actual job. I think if more people did that, then there wouldn't be so many damn rugs, and there would actually be more companies, because that's what these people are trying to be. It's a startup. Crypto companies are startup companies, and I don't get why more companies don't act like that. And I think you guys are on that way, at least from speaking to Felly. I think so.
Yeah, we're trying. That's kind of one of our goals. We hired Dustin. I think he was in here. We hired Dustin. He's actually our new COO. He successfully exited out of companies, and had experience working with regulators and things like that. So we're trying to mature and make this a real business and a company that can pay employees, and that's definitely our goal.
Yeah, I just need more of that, please. Less of just a guy in his basement that wrote some code and looks at the screen every other week or something. Less of that, more of like an actual business, please. More, please.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say, and just, I'm sorry, cuz one thing I'll say is that talking with different people, VCs, investors, stuff like that, what stuff that they're looking at, one of the biggest red flags is saying, I'm doing this by myself. You're the only guy. They don't like that. Yeah. They want to see a team. They want to see that you're smart enough and mature enough to recognize where you have blind spots and where you need a team to really fill in those gaps. That you need to have multiple people to be successful, to launch, to market, to do operations, finance, the whole thing. And so when you have that'll allow you to be successful. But to be a person who does everything, that's a huge red flag for them.
I agree. It's just, I don't know. Even if it's a 2-3 man operation, you guys should have a schedule. You get together, get on Zoom, while you're working, have a camera on for like 3-4 hours a day while you're working, and collaborate like an actual company. And there would be better products, right? I think there'd be less problems.
100% agree.
But if wishes were horses.
I mean, but a lot of it is up to us as the investors, right? And the community. We got to put our money on the projects that are like this, and we got to support the guys that are trying to do this and stop. We're kind of addicted to the high APYs. We're addicted to the pump and
money.
Dump. Yeah, it's like an addiction.
Money,
it's like drug.
Money makes us stupid.
We got to get off the drugs, man. We got to get off the drugs. So it's up to us too.
Money is a hell of a drug.
And it's funny too, because we say that about we want the money, but all we do is get scammed and rugged and lose. And I haven't seen it be successful in many ways. So it's guys, really quite funny.
Remember that whatever I do is never financial advice. I'm doing this so that you can see what it's like to be when somebody is financially irresponsible with their money, so you don't do it too. I am a cautionary tale. Watch me and learn what not to do. You're welcome. Sorry. Frack and I were talking a few weeks ago with a couple other guys, and I seriously, I pitched that we start a project and that we rent a house in Vegas and put the cameras on 24/7, and people could come and watch us work on the project. Real Crypto Vegas season 1. I think that would be hilarious. I think that would be hilarious. Sorry. Anyways, I digress. Oh yes, this question is actually kind of cool. Let's see. Isn't there any risk to investors? So somebody was asking about who has control. I think that's what they were getting at. So tell me, who has control of the liquidity? Who manages? Is there a multi-sig? Who controls things? Who does the buck stop with?
Yeah, so we incorporated Sidekick. We're officially incorporated, and I'm the CEO. So I'm actually the one, and I'm also the lead developer and architect on the system and the tokens. So I'm controlling everything right now. We do have a multi-sig wallet controlling the contracts and ownership of the token, and all that's under a multi-sig. But you know, I'm still in control.
Okay. Good answer. And what would you say to people to? I always hate this question. I really do, but it's the same. It's everybody's question. How do we know you won't scam us? That's such an unfair question. How do we know you won't scam us? How do we? I hate when people tell me to trust me. Don't. So I don't want you to say, you know, anything like that. I just want you to speak to. What do you think somebody will? If somebody were to ask one of your friends, let me ask it this way. If somebody were to go to one of your friends 5 years from now and ask them about the project and what you did, what do you think your friend would tell them?
That's a good question. I think they would say, you know, we started off building for the community, building tools, and we always delivered and built what we said we would. I think, you know, we launched Sidekick 2 years ago, and it's still there. You know what I mean? We never rugged. There's never been an exploit. There's never been a hack or any kind of crazy, you know, pump and dump, you know, things going on. We've been pretty, you know, our track record's kind of spoken for itself. And I think this is just an interesting thing with Web3 because, you know, every CEO has control over their company, and investors always have to invest in CEOs running companies. It's just that with Web3 and cryptocurrency, us, the little guy, we're now investing in projects at the earliest stages where before we were able to invest in a project, it would be when they IPO on the stock market. And at that point, they've already had investors, they've gone through the startup phase, you know, years of building products and that trust. The reason why we invest at the IPO is because we trust that they've been working for years. But the investors at the early stages have the same problem, right? They're investing in CEOs and companies, and they have to risk money. And it's possible that the CEO and the company goes to zero. And we're just kind of experiencing
Theranos.
Right. And now, you know, with crypto, we're experiencing what investors in early stage startups have been experiencing for the last, you know, forever.
Yeah, this is akin to the gold rush, or like, you know, the early 90s, rather the late 90s with the internet. There's so many, scammers are always the innovators. Believe it or not, I think that's part of, there's so many freaking scammers in this industry because they know people won't take the time to educate themselves because it's hard. And we need to fix that.
And there's another thing I'll add to that. I mean, you know, as I said, you know, it's like crypto, they call it supposed to be a trustless system. And it's okay if it's trustless, you know, but as he said, is like, we're doxxed. We have a corporation. We're publicly known. Names are known. So it's not like we're hiding. We've been in the space for several years. You know, scammers usually come and go, and you don't know who the dev is. It's like, oh, this is a project. Who's the dev? It's like, I don't know. No idea. So to me, it's like, no, we want to know who the dev is. What's going on here? What have they created? You know, basically at least track record. How's the token doing? How are the previous tokens doing? How are the other projects doing? Go by the history, go by the edits. Did they learn something? Because I mean, if anything, we know that we'll have plenty of opportunities to learn. You know, it's just like, hey, you can make money, you can lose money, and I'm telling you, I think in this space, all of us have a Harvard cost education. You know, pretty much, you know, sometimes you lose a lot of money all at once, and then you figure out, man, I have a Harvard level education of what not to do in this space.
You know what? I probably have like 10 PhDs.
Yep, exactly. So that's
I feel so much better
you know,
now. Thank you.
Yep, and the thing is that when you think about that, is like, you know, it's for, you know, I like to think of people like, hey, I don't know everything, but I can definitely look it up for you. And the more I know, the more I realize that there's so much more we don't know. And so that's why, in many ways, offering a niche product something is just relevant for certain people, is relevant for Web 2, relevant for people who want to fundraise, relevant to people who want to launch tokens, relevant to people who want to build a community and have a safe space. If you want that, then you just got to look us up, and we're here.
Yeah, I
Well
mean,
said.
I'll add on that, like, listen, you guys, like, you got to, how do investors invest in startups? They rarely invest in the tech. They're investing in the CEO. They're investing in the team. So you got to see who the team is, and we got to stop. If these guys are a non, and you don't know who the team is, it's not incorporated. I mean, you know, that's, in my opinion, that's kind of a red flag at this stage in the game. You know, maybe 2021, yeah, it was all new. I get it, but now we're in 2023. And, you know, we got to stop this. You got to invest in legit teams that, you know, have their reputation and real life on the line. Because obviously, if I'm anonymous and there's nothing incorporated, you know, I'm incentivized, like, technically, if we're gamifying this thing, I'm incentivized to, you know, do bad stuff. So, you know, you got to have accountability. And we got to invest in guys that are, you know, being accountable.
Well said. Well said. The more we talk, the more questions I get, because that's how my brain works, unfortunately. I try to have like a list of questions before, but then my brain always goes on a tangent and forgets them. Any other questions from the crowd you guys want to answer? I'd also be scared if you were in Crypto Boy's Vegas house. You're weird. Oh, yeah. Somebody asked, how big is the team?
So we probably have about 10 to 12 active members every day. We have about 4 full-time guys working every day, all day. But we probably have a team of at least maybe 20 or more people that we work with. We have contractors.
I'm curious, how do you manage that?
So
what's your typical day?
We're on Google and Telegram most of our day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Google Meet? Okay.
Google Meets. We have everybody with Google emails, and we have a calendar that we have a shared calendar we all use. And that's been a real big helper in kind of keeping everyone organized. And then Telegram, honestly, Telegram is where we really have been running the company for the last couple of years. It's just we have our Telegram groups, and that works really well for us.
Nice. I'm trying to. It's always curious to me how the different teams I speak to, how they run things differently. Okay. Any other?
Yeah, and another thing is, like, you know, we have, like, I think they said was like you know, Kaz also works with other developers, you know, so we outsource some of the stuff just because there's so much work. There's just too much work. So basically, you know, some of the stuff will be outsourced and stuff like that, because we recognize that a lone dev, this is, you know, the amount of work available for lone dev is not really conducive for a healthy lifestyle. So you really have to have a team to develop all these things and get it all done. So yeah.
Do you guys want me to unmute anybody, people to ask from the crowd, or do you just want to stick to picking text? It's up to you, sirs. If not,
I'm okay unmuting everybody. You know, that's fine, as long as, yeah.
Mr. Bigfoot really seems to want to speak to you guys on voice. Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
Awesome. Nice project, man. I really follow you guys from the start, and I see what you have in place. Really cool, man. So this is what I want to ask. For, like, if you want to expand this project, do you plan doing a video conferencing among non-crypto users so they can understand what you have in place? And do you plan also sharing it with those who does not understand how crypto space works using a video, because a lot of people don't know how project works and how um crypto works. So when you use a video from, even me, like when I start using crypto, I didn't even know how crypto works. But according to the video I usually watch on YouTube's and different places, it makes me know more about crypto. So do you plan using a crypto firm to expand this project?
Felly, did you guys hear that?
I'll admit, I had a hard time hearing, understanding for a bit. Kaz, did you understand?
I think he was asking about there are some projects that are using like video calls, like video sessions, like Zoom video sessions to like offer basic educational stuff for crypto newbies, because I think that's what he's asking.
Oh, we
We
did that a lot we did that a lot in the very beginning. We did Zoom calls, stuff like that, and everything. I mean, it takes a lot of time. It does take a lot of time, and I want to say we do that we don't do that as often as we used to, and stuff like that. I mean, we do know that there's plenty of people in the space who have, we have information, because sometimes we recognize some people don't like videos. They rather almost have like screenshots, or this is what you do. Slide here, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, better than videos. So, I mean, if it's, we are receptive to the community wants. So if that's something that they wanted, sure. But I haven't heard people wanting to do the Zoom calls in a very, very long time. I mean, usually we do some Zoom calls, but it's more, well, I guess we do Calendly events for partnerships and stuff. But in terms of that, for explanations on how, we haven't done that. We have not done that in a little bit that I know of. Kaz?
Awesome. And also, I want to know, what are the guarantees? Like, for example, if I want to partake in this project, what are the guarantees you are going to give me that this is a good project, and how can I trust the project?
Well, this is, I think that's one of the easy. That's a question that it's going to give you the mature answer. There's definitely no guarantee, and you shouldn't trust anybody. Honestly, you should trust that you have done your due diligence. You've researched. You've looked into it. Honestly, if you have not looked into a project, you don't know the people in the community. You don't know the team. My idea is I don't invest. I do not, because if I don't know them and I can't understand it, or it cannot be explained to me, I will not invest. I'll save my money and not invest. So most you can do is trust that you've done your due diligence, ask the right questions, seeing that we've been here in the space, see what's going on, and based on that, you can make an informed decision. But guarantees, there is none. If there's one thing that we do know about each other, is that we're always grinding, and we've been here, and we'll always be grinding. But guarantees for anything, no. That is fortunately and unfortunately one of the things that I can tell you. There is no guarantee of anything at this point. Just do your due diligence, and we'll help inform you in whatever way we can.
Anybody that tells you to trust me, if somebody says trust me, bruh, trust me, man, don't fucking trust them. Sorry.
Agree.
Okay.
Agree. 100%. 100%.
Just don't do it, because they have an agenda. That's the reason they chose those words. Anyone else? You guys are all unmuted. Feel free to ask questions. Daniel, you are terrible. Your connection is terrible, sir. Okay. Whew. No. Daniel, yeah, your connection. Maybe leave and come back, sir.
Hello,
You sounded
can you
like
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go on.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. I've been listening for quite a long time now. I read on the website and I saw on the roadmap what you will be having and trading boats and the rest of them. My question for that will be in regard to the security of the boats. Nowadays hackers, they learn new ways, on how to hack into systems, and will the team get the regular updates on this boat to improve the security of the system? Did you get my question?
I think he's asking if you guys have had any audits as of yet.
Cause, what do you think? Are you there? Because I do know this is
Hey, can you
one
guys hear
thing
me?
I do know. Yep, now we can hear you.
Sorry, I had to hop in the car. Wife was getting a little antsy, and I told her I didn't realize we were going to be on for so long. But this has been a great conversation. But no, so the root token has had audits. The original root token had audits. We've had audits on some of the smart contracts we've done. Jumpstart has not been fully audited, but we are using contracts that pieces of contracts that have been audited. So today we haven't done a full end-to-end audit of everything we've done. Again, that would take, like, every time we launch a new smart contract, we'd have to go do an audit, which is just, they're very expensive. They take a lot of time and energy and money. And honestly, we keep changing. We're constantly adding new features and new smart contracts. So it's just we haven't done an audit on everything. We have audited some things, but audits are nice, but the guys doing audits, you know what I mean? They're all, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting industry. There's a lot of things that are audited that still rug and lose money. I think SafeMoon just did something and they got rug. Like there's tons of things that are audited and rugging every day. So I wish I could say having an audit was like the end all be all, but with software, there's always going to be a bug. There's always going to be changes, and there's always going to be need for upgrades. So auditing is kind of difficult. But you can look up our contracts. They're all verified. You can throw them into RugDoc. You can throw them into any of these automated AI, auditing systems, and we usually pass. So, but yeah.
Good answer. I like it.
Yeah, and that's another thing. When we released Jumpstart, it was we released the MVP, and so as people ask for features, as we're doing, as we're adding PFP, as we're adding the gaming NFTs, so each time you do that, then all of a sudden that invalidates it. If you do an audit before on the minimum, then you have to as you upgrade, that invalidates the audit again. So instead of having 15 audits, you pretty much just keep developing, keep having improving the product, and then once since the underlying contracts themselves are audited, but in terms of end-to-end audit, I mean, in some ways I preferred to have a verifiable contract that you can look on chain. To me, that says a lot more than audits.
Right. I think DeFi is like the ultimate hot potato, right? Because somebody creates something, puts it on there, somebody else takes it, improves on it, and then throws it to the next person, and we're all trying to get to this ultimate potato. And I think it's beautiful watching the evolution of this money Lego system thing that we have, because it's just like that. I think people don't like it when others fork contracts or anything like that, but I say that's what we're here to do, to see what works, because nobody knows what works. My 2 cents. And as far as security, it's going to be a risk, because everything is fallible, because whoever made it is fallible. So the best you can do is test as much as possible. And it sounds like you guys do that. Maybe you can speak to that. How do you test these? Do you have like let me paint a picture. I used to work on late 90s as a web developer, and part of the process was to test things was I would create the code, I would create the website, blah blah blah. I would send it to my coworker, and he would check it, and any changes needed to be made, I would make it, and then we would move it to the next person. And it would go to like 2 or 3 people before it was finally ready to go. Is that something like that you guys do? Or how do you test for security?
Yeah, so we have similar workflows. Usually if I'm the guy developing smart contract, I'll probably, I'll throw it into like an AI tool that's going to check for issues on the solidity side. But I've been developing software for probably about 10 years now. I'm a senior developer. I was usually the guy doing PR reviews and checking other people's work. So, I'm not trying to say I'm like perfect or anything, but my code's usually good to go. And if it's not, we're really quick to hop on and bug fix. But for everybody else, when I'm working with other developers or if I'm having other people do the work, we definitely do code reviews. We review everything. We test everything locally on testnet. And so we go through the due diligence in the process of making sure everything is working and secure and safe. I'll just say, for in the last 2 years, we launched a token, the ERC Elite, which was a very, underutilized and rarely used smart contract system. I mean, we haven't had a single exploit, we haven't had a single rug or any kind of issue with our liquidity or anything in 2 years. Meanwhile, I could list you guys a handful of the top projects in the space, millions and millions of dollars, audits up the ass, and they've all been rugged or exploited. So, it just goes to say that, audits are nice and all that stuff is nice, but it really just comes down to the developer, the experience, and, whether or not they're good at what they do.
Yeah, I think not to pick on anybody, but just this, I'm going to call them out for it because it pissed me off. But the Ooze finance team, it felt like when I play with my dog, right? That's what they felt like to me. Like when I play with my dog, after a while, she does all the zoomies, like gets so tired, and after a while, she just goes in the corner and just plops down and takes a nap. That's what that felt like to me. It felt like they tried to build something in a bear market, and they tried a bunch of stuff. It didn't work. The community didn't respond. The community didn't like it, blah, blah, blah. But then they just said, okay, well, I'm tired now. I'm going to go to sleep. And then they left. God, that pissed me off so much.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that pissed me off.
100%. So, I mean, so it's like, it's a really tough, it's like, not only do you need good developers, but you also need tenacious, tough people. Like, you got to be tough, man.
Right.
You got to have.
If you try something, it doesn't work, don't go home. Maybe figure out why it didn't work and try to fix it and keep going. And I love teams like that. The older the team is, even though they might have had fuck ups or screw ups in the past, just the fact that they didn't close shop, delete the Telegram room, delete the Twitter, delete this, and then you just come back the next day and pretend to be a next team and rinse, wash, and repeat. That I get mad respect for that. You guys have my you have my respect. It's awesome that you can do that, to come back, and especially the way that these crypto rooms, the echo chamber cults are, where it's always the developer's fault, right? Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not, because these rooms are emotional people, like we're emotional people, and it's just, I think if Fortune 500 companies ran on fucking Telegram, Apple would be in the dirt.
Right, 100%.
Because
I think
Daddy's being bothered by a man on the other side. I'm sorry, darling. Just give me a few minutes, more minutes of his time, and I promise he'll buy you an ice cream or something. See?
No, but I mean, it's a real serious thing. I mean, you gotta have people who are willing to not give up. And I mean, listen, Sidekick has done a lot of things. Every project hasn't been successful. Every partnership hasn't worked out. But one thing we've never done is give up. We're not going away. We're just as motivated as we were, if not more motivated than when we first got here. So, I mean, I kind of feel like, I'm a big anime fan. It's like, yeah, listen, we were in the bear market. We had the first arc, but we're about to come back after like 2 years of training and just beast on these dudes. So I'm excited.
I like that. That's a good analogy. I like that. Okay. Well, I thank you guys very much for your time. I would love to sit here for another 2-3 hours because I can keep coming up with questions, and I really do enjoy this. I would love for you guys to come back periodically and give us an update. That's part of what I want to do here. Is I want to find a circle of things that'll lead to financial freedom. That's what I want. I want a bunch of I want a bunch of paychecks, and if I can, through these AMAs, I'm hoping to find the right ones. You know, I'm kind of dating. I think of this as kind of like I'm dating you guys, and I'm trying to find multiple. I'm trying to find myself a harem of, you know, passive income plays or, you know, things like that. There's no maximalism here. I don't give a damn about your cult. If you look at the name of the room, it is a parody. No maximalism. The only thing we're going to maximize here is I want 100 paychecks instead of 2. If I can get 101, please give me 102. I'll take 103. So I appreciate you guys' time. I know I'm very long-winded. Thank you for not losing patience with me. And again, I would love to have you guys back periodically to, you know, to tell me what's going on, to see. I just want to see how you guys progress. I want to see if you guys are going to end up being what I envision in my head. I'm curious about that. Anyways.
Yeah, no, heck yeah, man. We appreciate it. This has been a great talk as well. I know I've seen you around the space, so it's been really nice to connect, and we'll definitely come back. And yeah, man, we're not going anywhere. You know, we can't promise, you know, that we're gonna do millions and billions of dollars, but I can promise you that we're not gonna give up, and we're gonna be here. So yeah, we're excited.
I like it. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. Any closing thoughts, Felly?
Sure. I mean, it's man, it's just do it, you know, keep reading, keep learning, do the due diligence. You know, just do whatever it is. And you know, this is be part of a community, definitely learn way before you invest in anything. And you know, and just ask questions. Just ask questions and be relevant. And if we can do that, then, you know, then there might be no guarantees of success, but at least you said you've done the work to get yourself there. And that's really all you can ask for, you know?
Right. And you don't have to actually read. You can go on YouTube. I have a problem. I have a big problem with reading. So I find that, especially long form videos that I can listen to, and when they're talking about the subject for more than 5 minutes, I find that helps me learn quite a bit more than, you know, trying to read something with, you know, reading is just,
yeah,
I prefer, it's much better.
Maybe instead of saying read, research about a project and
right,
whichever
educate
medium.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Educate yourself. I highly recommend you look up things on tokenomics, you know, how blockchains work. It's quite interesting, actually. You might end up going down a rabbit hole you didn't know. Anyways, thank you again for coming. I'm going to stick around, but I am going to turn off the recording. As far as the giveaway is concerned, I am going to share this on Twitter, the video, the link to it, and it'll be for you guys to share, blah, 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 so we can get more people to see the AMA that didn't get a chance to see it live. And we're doing 4 times 50, right? Or do you want to do 8 times 25?
Up to you. You just pick your winners, and I'll send you the tokens for you to give them out to the winners that were selected.
I don't know how to do polls anymore. Like, where is the poll thing? I would put a poll in here, but I don't see it. And I know I left it turned on, but forgive me, I'm disorganized. But yes, I will. I'm going to post, as soon as I turn off the recording, I'm going to post it and share that on Twitter. I'll leave it open till tomorrow's AMA at the end of it, and I'll pick somebody. Maybe I'll do that going forward. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. You guys have been awesome. I really do appreciate the faith, and thank you for being here. No,
thanks for the invite. It was our pleasure. Honestly, we've been looking forward to this. So yeah, invite us back anytime. We'll be here, and you know, and we'll let other projects know also. I think we there's always people who are looking to come here and speak, and we always speak highly of you. So it's our pleasure to be here.
I appreciate the faith, man. I love it. Thank you, guys. Stick around if you want to talk. You're unmuted.